Alright, 2.4, writing linear equations. Objectives. Students will be able to write an equation of a line given the slope and a point on the line, or given perpendicular parallel lines. Let's talk about some different forms. The first form that we're going to talk about in this lesson is slope-intercept form. This is the one you're most familiar with, probably, y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So that means if this is your graph, that's where it intercepts the y-axis. Okay? We can use slope-intercept form to find the slope of a line really easily because we just look at it and it's the number that's right in front of the x when it's in slope-intercept form. So you could say the slope is 2/3. How about here? What do you think the slope is? Well, hopefully you can see that the slope is 3. Right? That should be pretty easy. That's some algebra stuff. So now let's take a look at this problem. It says write the equation of a line that given that the slope is -3/2 and it passes through the point -4, 1. Well, remember that we have this form, y equals mx plus b. So if we were to plug some stuff in, for the slope we could plug in -3/2. And we don't know what the b is, so we could just put that out there. But what we can do is we could temporarily plug in -4 for x and 1 for y. And I say temporarily because in order to have the equation, we need to have just a regular x there and a regular y. But we could plug it in to figure out what b is and then rewrite the equation. So let's go ahead and solve this out. -3 times -4 is +12 over 2. And 12 over 2 is 6, so we get 1 equals 6 plus b. Subtract 6 from both sides, and we get -5 is equal to b. Now I can rewrite this whole equation as y equals, remember my slope is -3/2, x minus 5. And there we have it. I've got the equation of the line that has a slope of -3/2 and goes through this point. Alright, I want you guys to do the next one. Same thing. See if you come up with the equation of the line. Remember, plug in your slope, temporarily plug in your x and your y to this form. Solve for b, and then rewrite the equation. You may want to pause the video because I'm going to put the answer up in just a second. Okay, when I plugged it in, I got that b equals 9, and then I rewrote my equation as y equals -5/3 x plus 9. Okay, let's go on to the next one, point-slope form. This one's a really handy form if we can remember what it looks like. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, this one's really nice because this x1 and y1, that's just some point on the graph. Well, look, they give me some point on the graph here. Label this x1, label this y1, and of course the slope is m. And so I just plug it in. I just go y minus, my y1 is -4, equals my m, which is 5, times x minus my x1, which is 2. The only thing I really need to change here is I shouldn't have a double negative, so I'm going to rewrite this as y plus 4 equals 5x minus 2. And I'm done. That's an equation, and it's an equation of the line. It doesn't have to be in slope-intercept form. In fact, instead, we have it in point-slope form, and that is a total valid form. We can use that because we have the slope right there, and we actually have coordinates right here. It's the opposite of the numbers plugged in here, so this is a -4 for our y and a +2 for our x. Okay, why don't you guys try the same thing on the next page? Go ahead and just give it a shot on your own, and then I'll put the answer up in just a second. Okay, so that's what you should have got when you plug everything in. There's your y coordinate, there's your slope, and there's your x coordinate. But remember, it's the opposite. So it was -3, so now it's positive. It was +1, so now it's negative, because we're subtracting. Okay, I've got a different one here. Let's say that they just give you 2 points. Well, what we can do is we can find the slope of these between these 2 points using this slope formula. Remember this guy, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals m. So if we were to plug this in, x1, y1, x2, y2, we would get -3 minus 0 over 7 minus 5. That just equals -3 over 2, so there's my slope. And now I can use either one of these to plug in. It doesn't matter which one I use. So let me show you both. Okay, remember that this is our point slope form, so I'll do this one in red, and I'll do this one in blue. Okay, so y minus my y1 in that situation is 0 equals my m is negative 3/2, x minus my x1 is 5. If you want to just drop the 0 here, that's fine, because y minus 0 is just y. Alright, but let's say I didn't want to use that point. Let's say I wanted to use x2, y2. That's fine. I can go y minus, it'd be a negative 3, so I'm going to change it to plus 3, equals negative 3/2 x minus 7. And believe it or not, these two equations are, they're kind of the same. I know they don't look the same, but they are, they're equivalents, I guess you could say, because they both represent the same line. They both represent the same line. So if you were to distribute this through, and if you were to add 3 on both sides, you'd get exactly the same thing. So let me give you guys another one to look at here. It says write an equation of the line that passes through negative 4, 3 and is perpendicular to the line whose equation is y equals negative 4x minus 1. Okay, well this guy's in point slope form. No, I'm sorry, slope intercept form, slope and intercept. So we have the slope of this guy. It's simply m equals negative 4. But I don't want the regular slope. I want the perpendicular slope, because my line that I'm looking for is perpendicular to this line. So the perpendicular slope is going to be the negative reciprocal of that. So this is negative, so that means that my slope is going to be positive. And I'm going to flip it. Since that's a 4, you could kind of say this is negative 4 over 1. Its reciprocal would be 1 over 4, and its opposite reciprocal would be positive 1/4. Alright, so now I have the slope, and I have a point, so let's go ahead and plug it in. Y minus my y1 in this situation would be 3. Again, they're right here, x1, y1, equals, remember my slope now is 1/4 x, and minus a negative 4 makes positive. There we go. There's the equation of the line they're looking for. Pretty simple stuff. Just practice it a few times. I think you guys will get this no problem. If you have questions, come see me. For your summary, describe 2 different ways to find slope of a line. Actually, I don't want you to do that one. What I do want you to do is just compare and contrast the different formulas for writing the equations of a line, including what the benefits of using that particular formula from the others would be. So what I mean is, you got this one. You got this one. And actually, we also learned this one. Remember, standard form. Let me zoom out just so I have some room to write it. So see if you can figure out what's best for what situations. You can use some of these examples above to see which ones were easier to use with what types of problems. Give you a hint that it's all kind of in the name. Slope, intercept, easy when you have a slope and intercept, right? Point, slope, easy when you have a point and a slope. Standard form is easy if you remember when we're trying to find x and y intercepts, we just blot out one, blot out the other. Okay, see you guys on the next video.